Hello everyone, this is going to be the video on how to install the auto start on the CF Moto. I'm going to make this short and sweet video, and first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your relay module and you're going to hook power into it. I just have it hooked up to a battery. You can hook it up to any battery. You can hook it up to your bike, your little bus bar on the front, but you got to hook this up because you need to set it into a certain mode. That is very easy to do. So you're going to open your cover up, you're going to tie in your two wires here. Make sure that you have the positive on the positive and the negative on the negative. There's going to be two buttons here, a learning button and a mode button. You're only going to press the mode button. So what to do is push the mode button 4 times and then release. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see a blink. Perfect. Now it should be set, and to verify that it's set, you're going to press the A button. You're going to hear the relay click. It's going to wait 5 seconds and then it's going to click again. It just clicked. Perfect. So now that is set, and it also saves to the memory, so I can even disconnect the power, connect the power back on, and it will still work the same. Awesome. All right, to make things easier, I recommend removing this bottom part of your dash. So you're going to remove this push pin. There's a push pin here, there's another push pin over here, and there's another push pin over there by that door, and there's a few screws along the bottom. So we're going to get this out of the way. I know some people might have a miserable time with these little guys, so I'm going to show you an easy way of doing it. You just take a pair of side cutters, you're going to come in here, and you're going to gently squeeze it. Obviously not too tight because you don't want to cut it. And then you're just going to pull it out like that. And then you can reach in with your fingers. It should come right out. Just like that. Alright guys, once you start to get this off, you're going to have these two wires that are hanging from your plugs. To get these connectors off, it's actually quite simple. You're going to take a small flat, you're going to get up under this tab, and you're going to lift upwards on it. A lot of people think that you have to push down in here, but you don't. So if you get a little screwdriver, lift up on that tab, and then the little thing should come out just like that. All right, now to hook the connectors up. Your kit is going to come with one short one. This one is for your push button, and these two are to go underneath the hood. So let's start with the gray connector first. This is going to be your brake input. So to remove the hood, you're going to pull here, and then there's 3 push little pins in here. So you're going to lift, lift, and lift. And then all you're going to do is lift up here and then just push with your thumb against the windshield, and the whole hood should pop right off. All right, this is where the gray connector is going to tie into. So all you're going to do is you're just going to unplug this, and then you're going to plug this in line with it. And the power is going to tie into your little bus bar here. So this one here is your constant positive. This is your ground. And this is your switch key positive. You do not want to tie into this one. You want to tie into these two. So the red is going to go on this one, and the black is going to go on this one. So you're going to run both wires down through here. Pick a choice. And in my firewall, there was already a hole right in here. You can see where that wire there is going through. My friend already used that hole because he ran some lights, and that's where he used it. But that's where I ran my wires through because there was a hole already there. You can use the hole if you still have it. If you used it, then you could drill another hole or go through your rubber, or I'm sure you guys can figure out a way to get the wires in. As you can see on mine, that's where I put my wires through since the hole was already there. Now for the short wire, this one is going to go on your push button. show you how to access, Jesus. I'll show you how to access that. So you're gonna put the steering wheel all the way down. You're gonna reach your hands in here, and there's gonna be a little tab on this push button. So you're gonna push in on the tab and then pull it kind of towards you. There, just like that. So the push button comes out. That's the little tab that I was pushing in on, and then pulling on it so it pops out. And there's a connector right there. You're gonna undo that connector, and you're going to put in the black connector. The short black connector is going to tie into that. And then you're going to run all the wires together, all 3 wires, and then you're going to zip tie the box right up here, which is what I did on mine. So, I don't know if you can see it up there. Yeah, so there's my box, is where I zip tied it up there. So yeah, so that's where the wires go. And then now I'll explain on where the wires tie into the relay module. All right, so I got all 3 wires cut to length, ran down. I have them into the relay module. When you strip the black, you're going to want to leave it back quite a ways, about as much as that. As far as these 2 connections here, the ones that you can see there, those polarity doesn't matter. You can have the black and the red and the red and the black, just as long as the 2 wires go to those 2 terminals and those 2 go to those ones. I will draw a picture here at the end of the video and explain exactly on how the wiring goes into this module. So I'm going to close them all up. So they all come out through that little hole. And also too, I forgot to mention, when you open this thing, sometimes it's a little hard to get open, so you can put a little flat screwdriver in there and pry out, and the same as here, and pry out and then open it. It makes it quite a bit easier. And the reason I left the wires like this is because I like to do it like this. I like to fold the wires back on itself like this, and then I'll wrap electrical tape around the whole thing just to hold the wires in place, so there's no chance of the wires getting tugged out on anything. There, I only could find the white electrical tape right now, so that's what it's going to reuse. So I just wrapped them back on themselves, just taped it down, so there's no way that those wires can get tugged out of the terminals. And now you're just gonna mount it up. There's a bar up there. You can just shove it up there and zip tie it to that bar and then put everything back together. However, I recommend you testing it first before even wrapping it all up like this, just to verify it works. And also too, when you're doing all this, make sure you hook this thing up last, because you don't want to have power down there and touching wires together. So make sure this is the last thing that you hook up. All right. So this is how you're going to wire in your relay block. You're going to notice all these different places that you can put your wires into. This is how it's going to be labeled. You're going to go into NO1 and C1, NO2, C2, V plus, V negative. NO stands for normally open, common, normally closed. Same thing goes here, and then your positive and your negative. Your black push button is going to go to your NO1 and C1. Your gray under the hood is going to go to your normally open 2 and your common 2. Your power is going to go to your bus bar, your V plus, your V negative, which I explained in the video. You're going to have 2 wires here. There's a black and a red wire. It doesn't matter which wire goes where. You can put the black one here, you can put the red one here, vice versa. The same goes for this. This can be vice versa, back and forth. This one has to be polarity sensitive. So the red has to go to V plus and the black has to go to V negative. And the same thing when it goes to your bus bar. It's going to go to your positive and your negative of your bus bar. So yeah, That's how that is going to work. All right, now I'm going to explain on how the remote works. The A button is just the same thing as pressing in on your start button. Pressing the B button is the exact same thing as pressing on your brake. If you remember, we set the module to a 5-second delay, not a second, 5-second delay off. So when you press A, it's the exact same thing as pressing and holding on your start button for 5 seconds and then releasing it. The same goes for B. It's like pressing down on your brake, holding your brake down for 5 seconds, and then releasing. The reason it's set to that is because it makes it way easier to start, because as you know, when you get in your machine, you have to press down on the brake. You have to hold the brake down while you press the start button to start it. So when you press B, you have 5 seconds before you can press A for the machine to start. If you wait more than the 5 seconds, then the brake releases and the bike will just go into accessory mode, because it would be just like hitting the push button with no brake applied. So there's two methods to start the machine. Every time I usually start the machine, I always push the push button first. I let everything prime up, and then I'll do the brake and then push the button again to start the machine. So that sequence would go something like this. You press A. You wait more than 5 seconds for that relay to disengage. And then now when you're ready to start it, you have to press B. And within 5 seconds, you have to press A right away. So it would be like B, A. And then to shut the machine off, you're just going to press A. And the other method is if you don't want to prime the fuel pump and all that stuff, you can just go BA and it'll start the machine. You press A to shut it off. So I'll show you something else. If you press A, it goes into accessory mode. And then if you come to the back here, if I press B, you will notice that the brake lights come on for 5 seconds. There. So within that 5 seconds is the time window on when you have to press A for the machine to actually start. So we can just go ahead and shut that back off. Perfect. And also too, you always have to press the brake first before you hit A if you want the machine to start, because if you hit A and then B, nothing happens, because the brake has to be applied first before the push button is activated.